Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I've finally gotten my setup looking almost exactly how I want it. I am so pleased with how this is looking right now, so I figured I would finally do what you guys have been asking me to do for so long and show you all my setup. So before we actually get into the tour, I just wanted to say that I'm not making this video to show off or flex on you guys or whatever. I have actually worked so hard for the past 5 years for this setup. I had such a bad laptop when I first started gaming. It got like 20 FPS on Minecraft. It was terrible, and then I upgraded to a really bad PC that got like 40 FPS. So trust me guys, those of you that have bad PCs, I was there myself, okay? This is just to show you what you can get if you put your mind to it, because I was only 13 years old when I started saving up for this setup. I saved up all of the pocket money that my parents gave me. I did a few jobs around the house, as well as birthdays, Christmases, YouTube earnings, and a job I worked at last winter. This has taken so long to earn enough money to put together. I've worked so hard for it for the last 5 years, and now I am so proud of how far I have come. So let's get straight into the setup tour. As you can see, I have this corner desk setup going on in my room. I have my desktop PC on one side, which is down here, and I have my university laptop on the other side. My setup is like this because I like to keep my work and my play separate. I play all of my games on this PC, I record, I stream, I edit my videos, I make my thumbnails, I do everything on this PC, and then everything that I do for university is done on this laptop, and I actually take it to university with me. This has all of my files needed for university on it, and it's where I do all of my programming. When I'm not at university, it actually sits here and I use it with this keyboard and mouse, but when I am at university, I just take it off the stand it's on and use its keyboard and trackpad built into it, because I don't need to take all of this with me. So that explains the whole setup going on. The chair is actually just a random office chair I got from IKEA like 3 years ago. It's super comfortable, but it's also super old. You can see it's kind of falling apart. I actually need to replace it. It's one of the few things I actually need to change in this setup, as well as my cable management. I know you guys are going to roast me for this, okay? I know it looks terrible, but don't worry, I am going to fix this at some point. But as you can see, I've got these RGB LED lights underneath the desk, which I think look awesome. I think they add a load more atmosphere than a lamp, and they do pretty much the exact same job, so I'm really happy with how this effect turned out. And as you can see, behind the chair we actually have my backdrop, which you guys can see in my videos. It's basically just a 4-panel room divider with some acoustic foam stuck to it. I turned on the light so you guys can see it a little better, but basically it is super echoey in this room. As you can see, the floors are wooden and the walls have nothing on them, so it is really echoey in here, which is not good for recording. It sounds so bad on the microphone, but this helps to mitigate some of the echoes, and it actually works really well. I actually think my microphone sounds so much better as a result of it, and I've actually gotten so many comments saying that my videos do sound better now I'm in here, so I'm glad that this actually worked. Behind the room divider is actually just my bed. There's nothing really exciting going on over there, so let's get into showcasing the components. So first things first, we have my microphone, which is the Audio-Technica AT2020 USB Plus. I love this microphone. I've had it for about 2 years now, and I love it so much. At some point I will replace it with an XLR microphone, but I really think this is good enough for now. As you can see, it has a pop filter on the front of it, and it also has a foam cover on the back to help mitigate some of those popping sounds. It's on a shock mount, which is attached to this arm here. The shock mount stops it like making a noise if I accidentally hit this arm or knock the microphone or something, and this arm just helps me like move the microphone around, position it wherever I want to, and if I want it out the way, I can just put it up here so I can game without the microphone being in my face, which is super useful. This arm is so good. It's actually a lifesaver, and it is so cheap. I was actually surprised at how cheap this was. So moving on to my keyboard, we have the Corsair K95 RGB Platinum with Cherry MX Brown switches. I actually did a video about this keyboard recently because it is brand new and I am so in love with it. Moving on to my mouse, we have the Zowie ZA11 mouse. As I've said many times, this is by far the best mouse I have ever owned. I am in love with this mouse, and it's actually going through this mouse bungee here, which is the Zowie bungee. This stops my wires from getting caught on my monitors, which is actually so annoying, so I'm glad this little device exists to stop that from happening. Next to my mouse we have my headset, which is the HyperX Cloud 2 headset, which is by far the best headset I have ever owned, partially for the reason that you can actually detach the microphone. The microphone's over here, it plugs into this little socket here on the headset. I like how you can remove this though, as obviously I have this microphone in front of my face. I don't need this one as well, so I like how I can take it from the headset so it's not annoying me for no reason. I forgot to mention that the mouse mat is actually the Zowie GSR, which is what my mouse and headset are resting on. Up here next to my mouse bungee, I don't know how well you can see that. My camera isn't seeming to cope well with all of the black, but that's actually a wireless Qi charger for my phone. Moving on to the screens, I have two 24-inch full 1080p displays. This one is an AOX 60Hz monitor, and this one is a BenQ 144Hz monitor. 144Hz is honestly the best thing that has ever happened to me. I 100% do recommend it, and if you guys do want the exact models for these monitors, they are on my channel's about page. I can't remember them off the top of my head. As you can see, on the top of each of these monitors is a webcam. This is the Logitech C920 webcam, which is the webcam that I've been using in all of my videos and streams so far. It is a great webcam, but the problem is, as you can see, I have no lighting equipment for it. I was actually using this screen on full brightness as a light, which is super ghetto, but that was kind of annoying with this webcam. So recently I got this webcam, which is the Razer Kiyo, which has a built-in ring light. So if I turn this at the top, you can see this light comes on, which is actually so much brighter than it looks. It's so useful, and it fully lights up my face, and that is what I will be using in all of my videos from now on. I'll probably keep this thing for recording mouse cams and keyboard cams and things like that. Moving on to the laptop, when it's not in this room on this stand, I actually just use the keyboard and the trackpad on the laptop, but when it's in here, I use my old keyboard, which is the Razer Black Widow Chroma Stealth Edition, and my very first gaming mouse, which is the Roccat Cone XTD. This mouse actually isn't that great, but I don't really game that much on this PC, so it's not really that much of a problem for me. Down here we have my drawers, which is where I keep all of my crap, and right here I have a remote control for controlling these LED lights. So as you can see, I can pick pretty much whatever color I want for these LED lights. I can make it cycle through the colors, change the speed, turn them on or off. It's so customizable. I love these lights. I just like having them on this chroma setting. I think that adds a nice atmosphere. And here I have a fan because it gets pretty hot in here, considering there's a room divider and everything. It like traps all the heat in, so this helps keep me cool at times, especially when I'm stressing out over uni work. So moving on to the actual computer specs, we have my main desktop PC down here, which is running an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080 Ti graphics card, an i7-7700K processor overclocked to 4.8 GHz, and 16 gigs of Corsair Vengeance DDR4 3200 MHz RAM. Obviously there are a lot more parts in there, but those are all the juicy things. If you'd like to see the list of full components, just check them out on my channel's about page. On top of this, I actually have an external 2TB hard drive, which is where all of my recordings are saved to. So if I want to actually edit a video on my laptop, I just unplug this thing, plug it into my laptop, and then I can just edit the video on there. Speaking of my laptop, this thing has an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 970M graphics card, an i7-6700HQ processor, and 16 gigs of RAM. I'm not exactly sure what type of RAM it is, but it has 16 gigs, that's all I know. I know this thing is very overkill for a university laptop, but I actually go away on holiday very frequently, so I bring this thing with me, and sometimes I stream and record when I'm away. I also sometimes use it to edit videos, so it does need a good graphics card, otherwise my videos would take an age to render on this thing because my render settings are super overkill. So that is it for my setup tour, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing if you're new to the channel, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.